Well, that guy didn't find body parts. The cops did.
The question is, aren't you...
Alright, boys. This video, because I wanted to watch it for a while. I was on a show with this motherfucker. I was on a show with this guy. With Dr. Egghead. I called him Dr. Egghead and then I got kicked off. Immediately. So I was on the show with this guy. Apparently he's massive on TikTok. And he is being looked by... Interpol is after him. FBI is after him. Bunch of intelligence agencies are after him. And I was on a Keep or Kick episode with him. So, yeah, let's see. I don't know what he did. I don't know anything about his story. So, let's see if he's a fucking monster or if he's like a troll or if he's, you know, a good guy maybe.
You're risking getting caught by posting? Here, you want proof? Here's my tattoo. If anybody doubts, check the website and call the FBI Pittsburgh if you want.
This is Chad Hauer.
Okay, bro, we get it. You're wanted by the FBI. I'm not hiding, FBI. Come get me. They've been after me for 16 years and can't get me. So what I'm doing here is calling them out. I'm mocking them publicly.
And this is his son. At the age of 11 years old, he went missing.
Jesus Christ.
Chad's son, Eris, was
Cyprus
believed
or
to be
Bahrain?
kidnapped and transported to one of two island nations in the Middle East, Cyprus or Bahrain.
I wrote parts of Skype. I wrote parts of the communication system on the space station.
Chad Hauer is a world-renowned computer programmer.
I was a public speaker for Microsoft. I was on TV. I was in newspaper articles. And then I traveled to Bulgaria in September 2009, was arrested.
Here, he discovered that he's wanted by the FBI and Interpol.
I was a very public figure. I had a very successful career until the FBI absolutely destroyed it. I was the American Taliban when I was in Bulgarian prison. They nicknamed me the Taliban because when I explained to them what I was in for, they didn't believe it. No matter how many times we told them, they absolutely would not believe it.
An extradition failed from here for the same reason it did in Bulgaria. The FBI has no evidence whatsoever because it never happened.
So he traveled to this tiny island nation where he's been living ever since. Chad needed to prove to the world that he did not kidnap his own son. He turned to TikTok and has been using the app as a platform to tell his story.
16 years ago this week, my son went missing. The thing is, he was never missing, and they always knew where he was.
His account has received widespread recognition from some of TikTok's largest creators.
What?
It's maybe the wildest story on all of TikTok.
According to Chad, in 2011, he got critically ill. Life-threatening.
3 nights ago, I had 6 convulsions in the middle of the night. What the doctors told me in the new labs is I'm in a race to find out which kills me first. Sepsis, kidney infection, kidney failure, heart attack, or stroke.
It's some vague illness that requires a specialist to diagnose and treat.
Had to revive me at the hospital twice already. They're surprised how I'm still alive as it is. They don't know. And beyond that, I need a lot more diagnostics. We don't even know what I need beyond that. Most urgently, I need electroshock wave lithotripsy.
The type of specialist that isn't
Yeah, it does
available
not
on the
exist in a
island
fucking
nation
tiny
he's
ass
trapped
island.
on.
The doctors have said, you need to not fly very far, even in an air ambulance. You need to go somewhere close. I'm painfully dying here. I need help. I'm begging anybody.
Oh
This is a
my
cover-up.
god, I didn't know
If he
this.
travels for outside medical help, he'll be detained by Interpol like he was in Bulgaria and sent back to the US on a flight that he says will kill him.
What can I do?
All of this is why Chad Hauer has received over 121 million views and is known as the TikTok Fugitive.
I'm Alex, and I'm not missing.
Es un juego de las llaves. La mejor será demostrarlo con la práctica.
The kid. So he did kidnap his own kid. So he did kidnap his own son, but the son wanted to be kidnapped.
This man is dying because of a crime that he never committed. The victim, his son, even said that it never happened.
What?
Originally, I thought, if
No,
only the
that's
FBI knew.
fake. No.
Here's a man that slipped through a bureaucratic
There's no way.
loophole and is dying because of it. If media attention could help
There's no
open
way.
up some doors to eventually save this man's life, why wouldn't I tell his story? So, I started talking to Chad before this channel even existed. I've been interviewing this
God.
international fugitive on and off for over a year. I've been
And he's got 169,000 people? You fucking monster, bro. Good job. Good job. I'm jealous.
Putting together a timeline with Mia, getting to know Chad's helpers, being knee-deep in court documents, tracking down anonymous online accounts, and fact-checking his claims to millions. And after all this time, there may only be one thing I've taken away. The TikTok fugitive is hiding something.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's it. See, I was with him. Parental kidnapping. Bro, he does look...
Chad is...
Dude, I was on the show and I said, what's Dr. Egghead doing here? And I got kicked off the show first. Bro, it was such a good roast. And then I said, yo, Mr. Clean, chill out. Bro, my fucking things were funny as fuck. Come on. Come on, man. Or is it Dr. Eggman? Whatever the fuck.
Is officially charged with the crime of international parental kidnapping. As you may imagine, the root of this is a custody dispute. A few years ago, Chad's missing son, Eris, who now goes by Alex, did a media blitz.
Well, it's a custody battle that didn't go too well. A 25-year-old who's still in the missing person database is trying his best to clear his name and his father's name.
25-year-old Eris Howard is seeking help to be able to travel back to the U.S. Now, he and his father can't do so, all because of a custody battle that went too far.
But the now 25-year-old isn't really missing. He's been unable to leave the Caribbean island, St. Kitts, all because of a battle between his parents that went wrong.
The FBI spent so much money on this case, but they don't want to quit. Way back when I was like maybe 5 or 6, my parents divorced. Tennessee has jurisdiction. My mother had full custody, and my dad had like visitation, but she kept disobeying the court.
See, it's a custody dispute, doing custody dispute things.
Others say it was a custody battle that shouldn't have gone this far.
Honestly, I don't even really know who's right here.
But
and
if
it
the
doesn't
kid
really
says
seem like
no,
my place
like...
to have an opinion. Everybody knows custody disputes are notoriously terrible and complex. But this is the part of the story that I think Chad wanted me to focus on the most. Or at least the foundation for it.
It's a farce. They know what's going on.
Chad believes that the way things played out, which is in favor of his ex-wife, point to a deeper conspiracy.
And that's what I'm telling you. This is not just a bureaucratic black hole I'm in.
That some powerful outside force, be it the US government, FBI, or CIA, has some ulterior motive.
This has been intentional from day one. They know what the hell they're doing.
That someone or something powerful wants Chad for another reason. He believes that the custody dispute is so dubious that there must be something else going on.
Now, here's the part I can't say too much about.
So, at risk of wasting my time, I tried to entertain that idea, to see this dispute as Chad does.
Chris, the new guy that joined the group, sorry, what was your name again?
Jack.
Jack. New guy that joined the group, Jack. Go ahead and send him all the documents.
But this is a highly unusual case.
This is from a podcast series called Wanted, where Jack Lawrence interviews a defense attorney about Chad's case.
Based upon allegations by the ex-wife, a claim of kidnapping, which seems to be readily shown to be false on its face. So it's interesting you got a U.S. prosecutor to even bring the charges in the first place, let alone then have the appetite to try to go all these steps to extradite the individual. So it's highly unusual on many levels.
Los que saben.
And he was a computer programmer, like he's a programmer, like a hacker type.
August 3rd, 2000. Chad, his now ex-wife, and Alex are all living in Tennessee. Chad gets the news that he won the primary election for his campaign to become a representative in the Tennessee State House. 3 months later, Chad loses the general election by a landslide. The following month, he gets a strange invitation.
December 2000. So my friend, I don't want to reveal his name here, but my friend, let's just call him Harry. That's not his real name, but let's call him Harry. And he was like, hey, you like to travel to weird places and stuff, right? And they needed somebody to carry a lot of bags. So he invited me to go along to Russia with him.
It's a city called Irkutsk. It's out here in Siberia. Personally, You couldn't pay me to go to Siberia in December, but I'm not Chad. When Chad returned home, he and Alex's mom agreed to separate. So we moved to Europe. 2002, divorce is finalized. 2004, Chad gets hired by Microsoft. And this is where the story really unfolds. Chad's ex-wife, at that moment having custody of Alex, violates court orders and moves to Pennsylvania. 2 hearings are held in Tennessee, and Chad's ex-wife is nowhere to be seen. The judge, holding Alex's mother in contempt of court, gives Chad primary custody. Chad's ex-wife tries to move the custody case out of Tennessee and into Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania says, no. Tennessee.
Like, I met this Chad guy, right? I got to talk to him for like half an hour. He seemed to be a guy who's in good spirits. He seemed to be a jokester. You know, he was taking my jabs really well. The thing is I don't know if he's a little bit of a schizo or if he has fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, he blurs the lines. He blurs the lines between things. You know, he never got like really serious and was like, no, this and then that. It's like it's a conversation with him. That's kind of the thing that I got off of his character, so I wouldn't be able to say if he was actually like insane or he was a conspiracy theorist or just not enough time.
Fast forward through the trenches of a custody battle. Chad's ex-wife won't return Alex to him.
So the judge says, okay, no, there's a Tennessee order. It's still in effect. You have to put the child on the plane. And she's literally like, not gonna do it. And a judge ordered police to remove him from his mother after summer visitation and put him on a plane back to Europe where he lived the last time he was in the United States for visitation. I did not kidnap him. I did not run. And then a few weeks later, the same judge turns around and orders me to show up to court for a hearing. I'm like, fuck this shit. You just had him. I'm like, listen, you don't even have jurisdiction.
What?
Right? And this is when he declared my son was born in Pennsylvania. Then he's like, well, the child's born in Pennsylvania, so I'm taking jurisdiction. But the child wasn't. We objected to that. And he's like, nope, I say he's born in Pennsylvania. So fuck you.
Alex wasn't born in Pennsylvania. But what I'm hearing is that Pennsylvania knowingly lied, forcefully changed their mind, and took jurisdiction of this case. But Tennessee still says their order is active. So we have 2 custody disputes happening in 2 different states that don't say the same thing. And on January 9th, 2007,
I think Destiny was talking about this case a while ago.
Alex in the next 14 days, or Pennsylvania will issue.
So they were talking about this guy.
Time, this escalates to a secret closed-door hearing to indict Chad at the federal level.
And then when they put him in Interpol, I didn't know. It was done in a secret closed-door hearing. It was done in a grand jury. My lawyers were not notified, so they weren't even allowed to attend. And it was only the DA and my ex-wife and the FBI guy who basically framed me. That was it.
Okay, so something weird might have happened here. I'm not saying I'm sold on the idea of the federal government getting their hands dirty in a custody case from Tennessee, but like millions of others online, I thought maybe making the next question, why is the TikTok fugitive really wanted? When Chad was at Microsoft, he was a representative for the Middle East and Africa region.
I was traveling all throughout the Middle East. Carte blanche, no problems. When I did have problems, Microsoft fixed it. I once got into Saudi Arabia with help of the royal family after my visa had a problem. I've been to a lot of places. I have talked to high-level officials. I've spoken to cabinet members in Pakistan. I had Saudi officials from the Saudi Ministry of Defense approach me one time. I think that possibly they saw what happened, and then this FBI guy got interested, and I think that possibly the CIA was trying to recruit me, and they wanted to get me in custody and then be like, well, we can make these charges go away if you work for us.
I won't outright dismiss it.
I mean, it's possible.
For me, that raised a lot of red flags.
I mean,
Since
it's
gaining
possible.
a large following on social media, Chad has started a Telegram group. Here,
Minion-ami.
his minions, as he calls them, help him come up with a case.
See what I mean?
They also generate.
Do you see what I mean? Like, he will lean into the memes. He leans into it. Like, he's a funny guy, and he will lean into the jokes, lean into. So you don't know if he's a schizo or if he's telling you the truth, or if it's a big hoax with him.
Generate non-stop conspiracy theories.
I don't think it's a big hoax, but yeah, see what I mean?
I should also mention Chad often cosplays as Gru from the Minions movies, hence Minions.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
Oh, you didn't see my Gru hat. I just got a Minion hat today.
You have a hat too.
Yeah, I got the scarf. I've got.
Please. I've been
You see what I mean?
Right hand man or head minion.
He's a little bit of a jokester.
His name's Chris, and honestly, he seems to be the most level-headed out of the whole group.
Hello, Jack. It's just a random room of some really weird people, whether it's Chad or some of these other like minions, as he calls them, spouting off these half-baked thoughts about the CIA and blah blah blah. I mean, that's like.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. My boy Chris looks like he's half-baked. He looks like he's half-baked, bro. Oh my fucking god.
That's why I don't read that group chat anymore. I have not seen any evidence that Chad was ever approached by any foreign intelligence agency or that was ever implied by any US agent talking to him after his arrest. I feel like when you're in a situation like his where he's now had like over 10 years to kind of just like piece together narratives, I think that reality and what he's put together in his own head these things probably don't.
That's what I'm talking about when I tell you that he seemed to be a jokester, and he when I said it was like a conversation with him where there's no facts. It's more of a push and pull, so it's like this amorphous thing that can move. That's what I noticed when I was on the show with him. And I like those kinds of people, because those kinds of people are fun. But those kinds of people, you never know what the truth is. You never know what you know. It's like when somebody's too much of a troll, you don't know if they're trolling or if like it's real. You know, somebody's trolling you, you don't know if they actually hate you or if they pretend to hate you. Or like, what the fuck is going on? And then they don't know sometimes. He blurs the lines.
AKA, it's all bullshit.
Surely there's got to be more to this than a simple custody battle. I mean, have you ever heard of a man being extradited or attempted to be extradited 3 times by the FBI, placed on a wanted list with an Interpol red notice purely over a custody battle?
Absolutely not, of course. And so as you correctly predicted, it's a highly unusual situation.
I kidnapped a child, according to the FBI. A judge ordered police to take the child and put him on an international flight. The same judge then laid charges of kidnapping on me. I moved to Europe 5 years before and wasn't even in the United States.
Okay, so 2001, and I have to look this up, but I believe it was May. I'm pretty sure it was May when I moved to Europe.
That's not what happened. My son already lived in Europe for several years at that point.
Out of curiosity, I wanted to know what other theories Chad had.
So one of the theories is that I moved out of the United States in early 2001, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I moved to Russia. As an American, moving to Russia, in fact, I moved to Siberia, not even like Moscow or St. Petersburg. I moved to Siberia in 2001.
I mean, I'm sure they'll look at you, but
that's not Europe. That's like as Asia gets. Chad moved in with his now wife. She's a Russian national.
But the thing is that she lived in a...
They probably think he's a spy.
Small town, not even directly in Irkutsk, but she lived in a place called Irkutsk 2. And this is a town that used to be closed to foreigners, so it's one of those secret towns. The whole second city is built around a military aircraft factory that produces Sukhoi fighters and has its own private airport that is only used for the factory. But here's where it gets a little bit deeper. The reason she lived in this city and grew up in this city is both of her parents worked at that factory, and not like sweeping the floors or anything.
Yeah, they were KGB.
They didn't have like access to materials.
The daughter of KGB.
In their head.
Yeah.
Especially after Chad's outrageous last theory.
So there you go.
I set out to verify all this. Directly from Reuters. October 23rd, 2022. A Russian military jet crashed into a residential building in the Siberian city of Irkutsk on Sunday. The second such fatal incident in 6 days. Declassified CIA documents from the Cold War. We were able to geolocate this photo of Chad.
In Irkutsk. He's telling the truth. In Irkutsk.
Okay, we have a lead. But why tell the world you moved to Europe?
I moved to Europe. I'm pretty sure it was May when I moved to Europe.
My son already lived in Europe.
So we know the guy travels a lot, but if you were to say when he leaves the US, he moved to
Europe, and then he actually moved.
Wouldn't be able to say confidently.
In the year 2000, Chad ran for office in the State House of Tennessee. Patriot. A year later, he's living on a secret military base in Russia. Something changed.
Yeah.
So we hopped on a call to clarify. We
Yeah, that
asked
is kind of
specific
strange.
questions with dates and locations.
And then
something
like his wife is the daughter of top levels. Like, how the fuck did you get in? And you're a fucking computer guy, a computer genius, works with Microsoft. And you get shipped to talk to fucking like sheiks and or sheikhs and kings and this and the other. How? Why? Why is a computer guy the one talking with them? Wouldn't that just be like some directive of this, like some higher up? Is he like a hacker? What's going on?
things made sense.
None.
Like, in the winter, he would spend time in Cyprus and Turkey, Europe. But other things raised more questions. Chad and his Russian wife purchased citizenship in St. Kitts through a CBI scheme just months after the Pennsylvania judge threatened him with a bench warrant. After his arrest in Bulgaria, he traveled back to St. Kitts using his purchased passport. And he changed his name to Peters. It's reflected on his St. Kitts passport. It's his new name. On this call, Chad's demeanor started to change, to me appearing like a man who felt like he was losing control.
I will talk to you about this now, but when you make the video, do not present this as the first part.
Oh, my God. Well, I do actually want to draw a clear line where in all conversations with you, we cannot give you any editorial insight or say. And if that's something that you want, we can't make this documentary.
For months, I had been watching and documenting Chad's online activity. What he posted, how often he posted, number of likes, comments, followers. And look at this. Many weeks where Chad went silent. This is really unlike him. So, what was he up to? I reached out to my friends Rob and Trevor. Trevor is known for being able to look at any image and identify almost exactly where it is.
Okay, bro, he gone. Okay, bro, this guy, is this guy Batman? Like, is this guy a top? Is this guy the whole of 4chan? He can just. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck, bro? Listen. True people, bro, start going to the gym, get jacked, okay? Get jacked and people are gonna think that you are actually Batman. Like, what the fuck, this guy?
Shockingly, Trevor already knew Chad.
Yeah, this is actual weaponized autism. Like, and he's got friends with also weaponized autism. It's like the fucking... It's the autistics instead of the Avengers, bro. The League of differently abled. The League of Differently Abled Humans, bro. Holy fuck.
I sent them a recent photo of Chad from his Telegram group.
He said he was in St. Kitts.
He's in Russia.
Yeah.
In many ways, Chad is just like us. He leaves little breadcrumbs all around the internet.
It makes sense that he's not in
easily
St.
tell
Kitts.
us more about him and his behaviors.
St. Kitts is
like
too close.
this tattoo. Shown on his wanted poster, it's a phoenix, but it's also a logo for an old company of his that he didn't tell us about. And if you reverse image search the logo, you'll find...
Okay. Bro, what the fuck? That website existed in 1973, before the fucking internet even existed. How the fuck do you find that? What the fuck is this guy? Bro, I was getting jelly. I was getting jelly that this guy has 130 something fucking things, and I was getting jelly at how good the editing is. I'm no longer jelly, bro. This guy's just superior. This guy's just like a level above. What the fuck? Nah, this motherfucker doesn't have enough fucking followers, bro. Get me on this content right now. Get me on this content right now, bro. Holy shit. You've won me over, bro.
01.
Very rare
his
to win
online
me over.
anonymous username on a message board where he documents recipes to make meals made out of locusts, of all things. There are companies out there that broker data professionally, and they have information on probably all of us. They can get this data from a variety of sources, like government records, birth certificates, voter records, court documents, or social media, like the posts that you've made, the posts that you've liked, the quizzes that you've taken, or the websites that you've visited.
Bro, they know I'm on
They sell
Pornhub.
your data, information about you. They are selling.
They know I'm on Pornhub. They know I'm on sexyprn.com. Oh shit, my bad. I shouldn't have said that.
Chad gave me permission to investigate him. If I, just some dude, can find out Chad's work history that he didn't tell me about, and that he might eat locusts just from like a tattoo on his arm, I don't want to know what an individual with malicious intent can find out or do with data on me. So I use this tool called
VPN.
They go through these strenuous steps of searching hundreds of data broker websites and removing your data from it. In January alone, Delete Me.
Yeah, listen, can we... How about this? This is a great idea for those out there in the world. Okay, Delete Me is to become unknown. Can we please have a service so that people get to know me, bro, and I get more viewers? Can I have that service? Don't say Mini, they're called viewbots. No. No. I need, you know what I need? You know what I need? I saw this happening on Twitter. All of these massive accounts that I used to follow, Breezy, Zim, all these massive accounts, they started posting pictures of a fatty. Okay, she goes by Sophie Rain or Ralin or whatever. She's fat. Okay, she is mid. But then they fucking post her and they say, oh my god, I can't believe every single one of these girls has been leaked. #ad. And dude, this girl is like the most mid girl I've ever fucking seen in my whole life. And she's getting insane subs on OnlyFans. Because somebody around her paid for the exposure. Like, bro, I'm not kidding. Hold on. Like, bro, she mid. Like, bro, listen. This is mid, okay? Like, what is this shit? Like, bruh. And she's fat. It is what it is. Anyways. That girl right there keeps getting posted on Twitter all over. And all of these fucking accounts just keep posting and they've got millions and millions and millions of views. It's insane what you can do. If you have money, the world is so fucking simple. Because you can just buy. You can just buy the media. You can literally just buy it. It's fucking sickening, to be honest.
Searched 3,500 listings for my information, and they found it listed on 55
because the rich get ahead.
And then they got it removed. Delete Me routinely checks hundreds of data brokers to see
once
if
I got money, I'm gonna be paying those motherfuckers. In fact, I'm not gonna be paying them. I'm gonna be like, hey, look at this clip, motherfucker.
They're also giving a 20%
they're gonna be like, oh my god, there's a clip from Mini Dumby knocking a motherfucker out.
Description. Join
That's what it's gonna be.
.com/chuppel20. CHUPPL20. So, if you are someone that doesn't like the idea of a corporation selling your personally identifiable information for financial gain, and you see the potential harms and risks of the data economy, click the link in the description, join Delete Me, get 20% off, and you'll get a report within 7 days. It's pretty cool. Thank you, Delete Me, for sponsoring this portion of the video. You enable us to make more videos just like this.
How do they find out, though?
One of the most difficult things about this case is that absolutely no one wanted to talk about it. Chad's ex-wife moved, and she has no public phone number. Chad's old custody lawyers never responded. FBI couldn't comment, and Alex, the kidnapped child, won't take our calls. Hello? He hung up. Feeling defeated, we decided to do our own digging in the endless abyss of the internet. Chad's a computer programmer from the early days. He's been on the internet for a long, long time.
Yeah.
We thought, surely there's a paper trail, and there was. Personally, this one's my favorite. Caribbean sunsets.
So maybe he was there. Maybe he did live there for a while.
But there's many others. We documented all of Chad's pseudonyms and usernames along the way, each one leading us to the next. What we found is that his life is much different when he posts it anonymously.
And I know, I'm not trying to throw control, but I mean, there's no like backdoor surprises I'm going to find out about here. Like, right, I don't know.
Like I'm part of the FBI? Well, I don't know what you're asking here. If you have any specific concerns, I'd be happy to address them. I just don't know what you're asking.
Nothing specific. I'm always in my position. Just, I always have to be concerned about everything. And I just, I'm just hoping it's not going to come out and like, here's this asshole hiding from the FBI. And if he just turn himself,
I'm also really trusting you here. I'm putting my reputation on the line.
I'm probably the most honest dude you're ever going to find. I mean, I've just, honesty is just an integral part of my core.
People who say that.
Google his Russian name.
Trust me, bro.
I got sick in 2011, 2012.
Trust me, bro.
And I was critically ill for over 10 years. I was unable to leave my house most of the time. I was in excruciating pain. I was basically slowly dying.
September 11th, 2015. Chad was the judge for a hackathon. Manager, Peter KN, like his Russian first name, and Kits and Nevis, the island he lives on, couldn't work.
No, I have not. Basically, since 2009 forward, I haven't been able to do crap.
Peter KN is a computer store. In 2016, they were open 6 days a week. But Peter KN is also another YouTube account of his. It's where he documents his road rage incidents.
Then fine, fuck off, lady.
At what point did you lift something over your head?
Well, I could do it. It's just it was extremely
W.
Painful.
Like you would be looking like, trying to do it.
Bro, he's just got a shit ton of.
Now, labor ignored us.
Patches,
useless patches ignored us.
Yeah, and then I couldn't leave. I had a massage chair. I could barely talk. I remember from COVID, from like 2020 until 2022 or so, I could barely talk.
See this cone? I can take the whole cone, and you can't even see the cone anymore.
When you change your name on YouTube, it doesn't
I just had a realization, bro. This guy's been trying to go viral his whole fucking adult life. But he's got 20,000 YouTubes and 3 Instas, 2 WhatsApps, 3 Discords, 5 FBI most wanted lists, 3 Twitters, 17 YouTube channels. Bro, I've got 1 YouTube channel and another one that I don't post on, a Discord, a Twitter, and a stream. I'm not gonna make it. If I'm competing with that guy, I'm not gonna make it unless I start fucking going, bro, like he is. What the fuck? When I grow up, I want to be like the TikTok fugitive,
Change
bro.
your URL.
Jesus
that stays
Christ.
as your original username.
This fucking guy.
On cruisersforum.com, user Piotr says he lived in Cyprus and Turkey and has a Russian wife and can see his 36-foot boat outside his office, which is right where the Peter KN computer store is, and that he can't sail every day because he has to go to work at his store and his kids have school. Chad says that some days he feels better than others. He's certainly sick. I've seen proof of it. But this made us think, is he playing this up? And if he is, has he always been doing this? So I went all the way back in Chad's TikTok. This is his second video ever. Listen to how he's talking. He is really sick.
Really, dude. Did I ever ask for money?
His third video ever was him responding to a comment of someone who doubted his illness.
Bulgarian prison over this shit.
I reversed the voice effect.
Everybody knows that if you have pen and paper, it's fake. But he's got pen and paper. Oh my god, it must be fake.
These two videos were posted in the same clothes, in the same chair, just 11 minutes apart.
Really, dude. Did I ever ask for money?
Everybody knows that if you have pen and paper, it's fake.
And none of this is fake. This is me on a good day.
But he's got pen and paper. Oh my god, it must be fake.
I had him pinned right. I told you motherfuckers that this guy blurred the lines. Because there are people like him. But like I said, it's a conversation with them. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's false. What the fuck? Because he leans into it. What the fuck? Is anything real with this guy?
Who is this guy?
So what he refers to it as
is he actually a fugitive?
A kidney disease of unknown
or is he just trying to
because
go
of
viral?
His health situation, he is not able to like be up and active and sitting at a computer. So when he would have some new like court filings or he wanted to update something on his website, he would just message me to do it and I would do it. That's something that I would do to help him. So I guess that's the extent of me helping him.
You mentioned in the spring you got connected with Chad.
I was just kind of following around in the background on TikTok, and then like a couple times he had direct messaged me. The real catalyst was I had taken a job. That job had a mass layoff in August. For a while, I was just kind of doing Zoom calls with him every week as on top of my job search.
But this is a highly unusual case.
Some online theories paint Chad as a potential Russian intelligence asset. With the knowledge of his time in Siberia, I do wonder if there could be any validity to that. A now deleted page on Chad's Howard.org website includes a biography about his life. Chad's background includes work in the employment, security, chemical, energy, trading, telecommunications, wireless, and insurance industries. The earliest backup of this website occurred during the time that Chad may have been living on the military aviation plant in Siberia. Security, chemical, and energy. He didn't tell me any of that. Bulgaria is a former communist state, just a trip across the Black Sea from Russia. The two used to be great allies. But since 1989, the relations between the two countries have become really fragile. I gotta admit, it's a scary thought. The chance that Bulgaria might not want to piss off their all-powerful neighbors by extraditing a secret asset to America. Is that who we're dealing with?
Typically, you're seeking extradition for either a case that has a high monetary...
No, but if he was doing that, why would he be trying to go viral on TikTok? Why would he be trying to go viral on the YouTube? With the viral road rage incidents and shit. And the sunsets. Why does he... Or does he just look... I mean... I say that he's trying to go viral, but then that's maybe my bias showing he might just like sharing his life. He's been on the internet for so long that it could just also be a part of him. So the sunsets, he shares them because he finds them cool, and the road rages, he shares them because it's like, these fucking bitch. The TikTok stuff is definitely him trying to amass viewers and entertaining people. That 100% is. But the others might just be him sharing. But like the Gru, that's 100% him trying to go viral. The sunsets and the other thing, it might just be him sharing. I mean, whichever way you look at it, the guy's interesting.
Someone who's very violent or dangerous.
Why can't the FBI extradite me, and why have 3 extraditions from multiple countries failed?
But under the treaty that's in place between those two governments, it appeared that he would be someone who would be potentially eligible for extradition.
So if there's an extradition treaty in place, why wasn't he extradited?
And they're still trying to get me, even after multiple failed extraditions in multiple countries that were denied by the country's courts because they don't have any evidence. An extradition failed from here for the same reason it did in Bulgaria. The FBI has no evidence whatsoever because it never happened.
That's what Chad says. It's what I and millions of others believed. Here's the real reason.
But under the treaty that's in place between those two governments, it appeared that he would be someone who would be potentially eligible for extradition. I haven't seen any of the rulings from the Bulgarian side as to why they refused to do it.
I have. And it's so boring. It's so boring. Chad's story gets credibility from the attorney in the Wanted podcast, but the attorney admits it. He hasn't seen his documents.
And I don't know if you've come across any materials where the Bulgarian courts or officials have given their reasoning for not doing it.
Why Bulgaria chose not to extradite Chad is the foundation that his house of cards is built on. If there's an explanation for why Bulgaria denied his extradition, then it falls, one card after another. On November 24th, 2009, the extradition hearing was held and the request for extradition from Bulgaria was denied based on lack of dual criminality, meaning Bulgaria denied the American extradition request because Bulgaria did not, at least at the time, have an international parental kidnapping statute.
They aren't saying that Chad is affirmatively innocent.
They had the evidence. Bulgaria just didn't consider it an extraditable offense. This is just how international law works. Chad logically knows this. He's seen the document. I know that because he sent it, but he's still convinced that this case was escalated wrongly and maliciously by an FBI agent and a district attorney. He uses TikTok to attack these two and claims that they were in on a conspiracy against him. Is FBI agent
he might believe it.
Kirk Brace the Rosetta Stone to understanding this story?
He's one of 2.
And the other is
Christian Trable.
But the truth is, Chad's case played out by the books.
And then when they put me in Interpol, I didn't know. It was done in a secret closed-door hearing. It was done in a grand jury. My lawyers were not notified, so they weren't even allowed to attend. And it was only the DA and my ex-wife and the FBI guy who basically framed me. That was it.
Again, here's an attorney talking about Chad's case.
We have grand juries at the federal level, which would apply to Chad's situation. It's all secretive, right? And there's important reasons for that. Number one, you don't want to tip off the potential defendants that they're being investigated.
And have them run.
And on the other side of the coin, you don't want to have people's names smeared in the public just because they're being investigated.
Custody cases happen at the state level. In the 1970s, this caused a huge problem. A divorced parent would move across state lines, file for custody in that new state, and then ignore that old ruling. It was a form of parental kidnapping that the federal government noticed. So they passed the Parental Kidnapping Protection Act, which helps determine which state has jurisdiction. Chad cites some of it here.
Well, to transfer jurisdiction, you have to live in another state for 6 months. So it takes 6 months to transfer jurisdiction. And you have to be there legally. And she had only been in Pennsylvania for 3 months, and she was there illegally. Okay? So it didn't count.
If a child lives in a state for 6 months, it's their home state, and the law gives that state jurisdiction. But if the child doesn't have a home state, like in this case, the law has a way to resolve it. Chad is leaving out that detail. The decision to move the case to Pennsylvania was by the books, the part that Chad is leaving out. Though there is one thing that Chad gets
child
right,
is
he's
sired.
not guilty of what the indictment claims. Chad Zachary Howard did, with the intent to obstruct the lawful exercise of parental rights, remove a child from the United States, and retain a child outside the United States.
And a judge ordered police to remove him from his mother after summer visitation and put him on a plane back to Europe where he lived the last time he's in the United States for visitation. I did not kidnap him. I did not run.
Chad never removed Alex from the US, but all this comes down to is a typo. Look at this. The law doesn't say and, it says or retain a child outside the United States. This is the law that Chad's officially charged with. Chad could admit this, but instead he chooses to go on TikTok and claim that it's all a farce. And since the indictment says that he removed his son from the US when he wasn't actually there, Chad makes claims saying that the US government says that he's a time traveler.
I was not in the United States in November. They've accused me of time travel. But the FBI says, we don't care. We say you're a time traveler. And multiple countries have denied my extradition because time travel doesn't exist.
So how did I kidnap somebody? Was it time travel or teleportation? Because I'm confused here.
Chad views himself as the exception to the rule.
Bro.
That much I can say without a doubt. He also eventually told
is.
us how he slid under the radar of Interpol and made it back to Russia from St. Kitts.
And they swiped my passport. I could see the screen. It was like at a 45-degree angle. Yeah, it lit up like a Christmas tree. I thought, that's it. They're taking me. He's just like, well, there's a problem with your passport. And then he's making a phone call and he's talking. And after a while, a lady comes over from an office. She's like, okay, welcome to Cuba. I'm like, cool. 4th of July, I drove by the American Embassy and gave them a big old bird from a 1950s Buick.
Hola, FBI. Suck it.
This guy.
Once the plane took off, it was literally like, suck it.
Since getting back to Russia, Chad has received asylum. And he's using that as proof that his case is just as significant as Edward Snowden's.
It's like Snowden. Now me.
This guy.
So, those of you who say it, that might
Yeah, he blurs the lines.
They don't go to asylum that anybody just shows up. You gotta have legitimate reasons. And I've been telling you my story is legit.
So I reached out to my friend Tanya. She's a Russian-born journalist now working at Bloomberg.
Yeah, this guy, he's a true born entertainer, bro. He adds his own sauce to the story. I like him. He adds his own sauce to the story, bro. He'll tell a story, but he'll tell you a true story, well, a story based on true facts. But it's not a true story, it's on true facts. I like this motherfucker.
The producer on the Oscar-winning documentary
like this
Navalny. It's about a real high-profile case in Russia. What motivation does the Russian government have to give him asylum?
It's simple. If the U.S. has a beef with him,
yeah,
Russia, my enemy is my friend.
Yeah,
the Russians know the history of this case. They don't hand this out easily.
That makes sense for high-profile people that are wanted. You think this is just abundant with any low-level, high-level people that Russia is just super interested in giving asylum?
If the guy with a U.S. passport shows up and says the FBI is after him and he wants asylum in Russia, they will get him to him.
Yeah.
That part to me makes sense.
For them to grant asylum to an American wanted by the United States, that's extremely rare.
The United Nations High Commissioner on Refugees collects data on Russian asylum seekers. Since the war in Ukraine, Russian acceptance of asylum of people of any nationality is nearly 100%.
Yeah. The charges are false. We know they're false. And I can never prove this, and I was like 90% there, but recently we've got some more documents.
Because they want information.
And it's clear now. The Americans are trying to get me to spy on the Russians when I lived here in the early 2000s because we had family connections who worked with military technology.
I have the documents that Chad claims prove this. They're emails that he just forgot about. One of them from his lawyer. Chad, I just had another conversation with the FBI agent in PA, and he's talking about coming after you under a specific federal statute if we do not work something out with Nancy. The statute includes retaining a child outside the country and interfering with visitation rights. The agent was quite polite and non-threatening, but he says they'll have to do something soon if we don't reach a compromise.
Just look at the bias in there. They want me to work something out with her. They've already freaking July, if not June, of 2007.
To Chad, the FBI being involved as early as 2007 is proof. That's all he needs.
They were just waiting to come after me, and this is what I've always suspected.
There's another discovered email too. It's directly from the corrupt FBI agent. Chad, my name is Kirk Brace. I'm a special agent with the FBI in Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm contacting you in regards to the custody situation with you and your son. I'm not here to act as a judge, but merely here to enforce the law. With that said, I simply suggest that you research the law for yourself. Specifically, United States Code Title 18, Section 1204. Please feel free to contact me at the FBI Erie office to discuss this further. Chad, I'm a father myself and sincerely hope that we can resolve this in a cooperative manner in the best interest of all parties. Thank you. Kirk Brace, FBI. To me, I read this as a second chance from the FBI, but to Chad.
Completely, utterly insane. They were just waiting for something to happen and go right after me. While not conclusive proof, this is a pretty big freaking gun smoke, even if we don't have the smoking gun itself. I mean, it's like we have the shell casing, and we just don't have the gun yet, but this is freaking huge.
Child custody and visitation matters are handled by local and state authorities and not by the federal government. Wait, no, with the exception of international parental kidnapping. Straight off justice.gov. Buy the books. Buy the books.
Look at me. Can you even believe how crazy I look? Look at this. Look at this face. It's 3 days before this video goes live. I'm stopping the edit here because yesterday, Chad's attorney from Pennsylvania finally got back to us and I interviewed her. Have you seen anything to do with Chad in recent days? Have you been following along with his updates?
It's probably been 8 or 9 months since I've seen anything. I knew they were doing a big campaign about
what do Mexican
Harris
cows say?
and him being missing, quote unquote, etc.
They say, I'm Candy Jones's mother. Moo. Recognize that one, Candy? That means go to bed. You just got destroyed, bro.
Chad has transitioned from my son isn't actually missing to now spreading a narrative of what I would call very high-level conspiracy theories against the U.S. government.
Yeah. Oh dear.
That the FBI and the CIA are trying to recruit him to be a spy.
No, I had zero idea about any of that, and I can't see how that will help his case on any front, from space even. No. Wow.
Did anything during the court case lead you to any sort of conclusion that would support his theories that he is wanted for another reason other than international parental kidnapping?
No.
Is that like a certainly no? Like some weird things happen?
Absolutely no. I didn't hear anything ever along that line.
Does that just seem totally out of nowhere?
That would really be awesome. I mean, what I do now is I'm a novelist, and I would love to write that up.
Barbara, from my perspective, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that Chad
she's
also
a
sees
novelist.
it as a story.
Yep.
And it's a story that hundreds of millions of people have bought into online.
Now, unfortunately, there are way too many people who will buy that. As far as I'm concerned, it seems very far-fetched.
I'm not trying to come for this guy, but it seems like what he's doing is somewhat dangerous.
I come at you with a true story.
He's
no
telling a
tinfoil
story.
whatsoever. Purely provable. And people are like, he's crazy.
Chad really wants press on his story.
A story.
And reporters have been interested, but he says without fail, they all stop responding.
I'm quite sure it's the FBI.
Chad is convinced that is proof that the FBI is intimidating journalists not to tell his story.
What's this? This is a story of the TikTok fugitive. I was on a show with him on Keep or Kick, and I was going after him. I was calling him Dr. Egghead, and this, that, and the other, you know. And now that I think of it, every time I've had the opportunity to go to Keep or Kick, it's always a setup. I'm the fall guy, always. Because before this TikTok fugitive guy showed up, they were on Keep or Kick. They were talking about a guy who had custody over a child, but they were like, does he have custody or does the mother have custody? Who's the one? Who's the correct party here? Is it Pennsylvania or is it Tennessee or whatever the fuck? They were talking about it, bro, before I went onto the show. And then the show happens, and inevitably, no matter how good I was, bro, I was calling him Dr. Egghead. I was calling him Mr. Clean. And I was dropping jokes, kind of like the jokes I drop, right? And the chat voted against me. And then the other time I was on, a girl was fighting with Destiny, and then that fucking loser Irrelevant was on too. And a bunch of other people that they know, Lauren De Laguna was there, a bunch of people that Destiny knows, and I was the only one that they didn't know, again. And I dropped fucking banger lines, bro. They asked us, is it okay to joke about, like, should you joke? The one question that I got to answer was, should you joke about suicide and stuff like that, right? And basically my argument went like, of like, yeah, you're allowed to, bro. You're allowed to joke about everything. Like, why wouldn't you be able to talk about something like that, right? Then that would only make it more taboo. That would only like hurt things. But I will say saying, kill yourself, right? That is very, it's a very boring insult, you know? Kill you now! It's a boring insult. It's easy. You know what I mean? It's easy, bro. It's an easy insult. And so I said, it just tells me that you're not really creative, right? But of course you can joke about it, because we all understand that sometimes it can be funny, right? Some people disagreed, some people agreed. But then there was a moment on the show where I fucking just wrapped the whole show up. When at the end, people got really tired with that question. They got really mad because that question like kept coming, right? Well, it wasn't on the show. It was on that. Well, it was on the show, but it wasn't the whole show. It was just that question. And Irrelevant asked, "Who?" Irrelevant asked, "It's easy but psychologically profound if taken wrong." Oh yeah. I know what you mean, None. I was like, it's a very easy insult, but it can be very like damaging to the right people. But you should be able to joke about it, because there's also a side where you should be able to joke about everything that happens in life. There is nothing that shouldn't be able to be joked about, because jokes are usually the beginning of a conversation, right? Because there are conversations that humanity won't have unless it's a joke. Unless it's in a joke way. Otherwise, we are not talking about it, right? There are conversations like that. So I said it is important, because otherwise you like create a massive taboo around it, this, that, the other. But then, right? Irrelevant asked, who the fuck came up with this question? Like, this question was so retarded. Who the fuck came up with this question? And Destiny said, your mom did last night. Which is very uncreative. Okay? In that way. Now, I say that right after saying, telling Candy Jones the joke about the mother, right? About what the Mexican cows, you know, when they say moo, you know? But Destiny said, oh, your mother said it last night. His chat laughed. And I said, the person who made it up is someone who should kill themselves. And then everybody started laughing, because it's what we were all thinking, right? And it made sense, because I turned the question into the joke, and I proved my point that you should be able to make the jokes as long as you do it in the right way, because everyone fucking found it funny. And everybody kind of wanted to say it, because everybody got sick and tired of the question. So it was actually a genius. It was the most genius line that anybody could have dropped at that moment. That was the perfect example of a perfect line. There was no better line. by anyone else. There was no better line. I dropped that line. And I still got kicked from the show. I still got kicked from the show because Irrelevant said, well, that other girl has beef with Destiny and I don't know you. Even though that girl didn't speak. And that time I got really mad because I said, this is fucked. This is fucked, bro. I come onto the show, I entertain the people, I make the people laugh, I come in with comedic timing, I come in with good takes, I come in with energy. And you don't give me a chance because you don't know me. You don't give me a chance because you don't know me. Like, it's rigged from the get-go. And that's when I said I gotta do my own shows, because these shows are fucking rigged. These shows are so fucking rigged. And now that I'm seeing this, right, and I realize that the TikTok fugitive was a person that they were talking about from the past, I'm like, oh, I was the only person that they didn't know. And it seems to me like Destiny's community only gives people a chance if they get to know them. Because Destiny has been bitten on the ass by so many fucking people that his community is very exclusive of new people. Very exclusive of new people until they get to know them. So yeah, I do gotta get to know them. But I hate that. I hate that people don't value what happens on the show. They value everything around the show. So if you're incredibly funny, if you're incredibly entertaining, if you're good looking, if you're this, that, and the other, but they know somebody else, they know a friend, and the friend didn't speak, but the friend is there, this person has no chance. And a lot of shows are like that. Like, you guys have all seen me react to these shows, and whenever somebody's being funny, I say that person's funny. That person's being fucking funny. That person shouldn't have gotten kicked off. Because that's the truth. But they get kicked off because the person doesn't know them. And it happens a lot. It happens a fuck ton. There's nepotism everywhere. Everywhere there's nepotism. And so what are you going to do? Complain about it? Or be part of it? You know? You know what I mean? A step above the Austin show, you have a greater chance of success. Yeah. But you know, when I first started, I didn't like the clout chasing aspect. I thought it was cringe. I thought it was off of merit. I thought if you were entertaining, if you were funny, if you were good, you know? Hold on, back to the video mini. Focus. Hold on, bro. I'm ranting. I thought that that's how it worked. But it's not how it works, bro. It's all connections. It's all connections. And then people complain about clout chasing. You know, they complain about clout chasers. Oh my god, these clout chasers. Bro, you have made it so that people clout chase. Like, if you have a show and you kick entertaining people because you don't know them, then the only way for people to get on the show is to suck your dick and clout chase off of you and become friends with you. You know? And then they complain about the same system that they perpetrated, that they created. Now, I'm a pretty friendly guy. I can become friends with anybody. And now I no longer see it as clout chasing. Now, well, I'll just make friends. I'll just make friends. I like making friends. I like talking to people. I like entertaining people, so I'll just fucking do it. But people complain a lot, bro. You know? Yeah. Yeah, there's more to it than just being funny, good, or entertaining on these shows. There's more to it. There's more to it. And people really listen to their streamers. So if their streamer says that guy's a good person, the people will listen to that person. I thought the streamers didn't have as much power as they did. I thought people were more independent than what they are. Yeah. I was wrong. I was wrong, bro. And I was wrong because I didn't know about the culture. You know, I watched Twitch streams. I was never in the Discord. I was never following them on Instagram. I was never following them on Twitter. I just watched their Twitch streams. That's it. But a shit ton of people who watch the streams want to know about the Discord, want to know about the pictures, want to know about this, want to know about that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we gotta fucking start doing. It is what it is, bro. Yeah. But it's very strange. It's very strange.
Sorry.
3 extraditions, can't get him on by the FBI, and yet nothing because the FBI keeps squishing the stories.
All I know is the FBI sure as hell hasn't come for me. So here's what we undone. I couldn't figure out where Chad's ex-wife is. From what I do know, it seems this situation has torn her life apart. She declared bankruptcy, her house foreclosed, she went off the grid. So for as much as I wanted to hear her side of the story, it seems that she wants privacy, and I'll respect that. Alex is now 27.
What is that?
He still lives in St. Kitts, doesn't talk to press, but
I was on a show with him.
Doesn't really talk to Chad.
And he's a TikTok fugitive.
Contact with Alex is off limits.
He's not even talking to me much anymore because I pushed. There was a journalist. I pushed on that, and he's basically told me leave him alone.
The only real winner here is Chad. With Russian asylum, the chances of him going to an American prison are slim to none. And he's gained a remarkably large following online. Yeah. Some of those followers joined Chad's Telegram group. There, they become one of his minions and often dedicate countless hours of their life to Chad and his story.
Whenever like a new reporter reached out to him for interest in the story, Chad would just have me, since I had this understanding through interviewing him,
committed a crime or something,
talk to new
kidnapping of his own child.
Came on the scene because he sees.
But it's kind of convoluted. And then he was saying that the FBI was after him for other reasons. Because
I'm curious how you feel about.
Because like this guy, he's a storyteller. He's an entertainer. He's a storyteller. So he used to work for Microsoft, and he would get sent all over the Middle East. And then he lived in Bulgaria. He also lived in Russia. And then there was a dispute over who should have the child, him or the mother, and there was a dispute between two states. And then he took his child to St. Kitts, and now he's living in a fucking military base in Russia with his wife, right? Who's the daughter of two high-level operatives in a military base. So there's a lot of stuff for you to pull onto the string, and create conspiracy theories off of it, where they want Chad to work with them. They're trying to get him to spy on Russia, all that stuff.
That being in that role,
but apparently it's just
really sign up for it.
Yeah, I would agree that I didn't really sign up for it.
I found some stuff that I'm just curious.
Apparently it's
so we found a computer
some truth
in St. Kitts. Seems to be yours.
Well, I ran it. It wasn't mine, but yeah.
Yes.
Do you see why that's a little bit concerning? You've kind of been telling us repeatedly that you haven't worked a day since Bulgaria.
Well, I haven't been working on the software side.
Couldn't work?
No, I have not. Basically, since 2009 forward, I haven't been able to do crap.
To be clear, we've been told by you
that
you couldn't lift
haven't
anything.
worked a day in any capacity since Bulgaria. And from our perspective, we see this computer store, and it's relatively concerning to us.
Yeah. No, then, yeah, I see where you're coming from there.
It plays into the health thing, too, a little bit, where you were saying you have been so sick that you weren't able to really leave your house during those years.
I got sick in 2011, 2012, and I was critically ill for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I was unable to leave my house most of the time. I was in excruciating pain.
Ignored us? Patches, useless patches ignored us.
I was basically slowly dying.
Have you ever played up your story for the purpose of, like, PR?
So, I mean, as far as have I hyped things? Yes. Have I lied? Have I faked? No.
Yeah,
but TikTok,
it's based on
reality. I have to get
reality.
attention. That's the only way things work.
So it's based,
Oh my God, it might be fake.
based in reality.
I'm sorry if you felt I misled you on the work part. I don't have to make things up. But I understand why you asked me that question, because the things they have done to me are so absurd. But if you look at all the absurd things that I can prove that they did, once I found those July emails.
It's like, this reminds me of when I told you motherfuckers the story about how I lived in an airport for like 30 days. Do you guys remember that? Some of you might have been here. I told you about how I lived in a Madrid airport for 30 days. No. Well, when I was a young child, I lived in a Madrid airport for 30 fucking days. And there was a list, right, of all the Mexicans. Was it fun? Bro, it was hell. It was horrible. It was shit. My brother and I tried to make it fun by being fucking schizos for a while. We used to run through the whole airport fucking singing and jumping and being menaces, bro. Also got to meet the Real Madrid players back then when Robinho was over there. When Schneider was over there. There was 40 of us. Yeah, there was 40 of us in a waiting list because we all had plane tickets that are given to workers of like airlines, right? And they get these tickets that where you can go anywhere basically in the world. They're very cheap, but it depends on there being space on the plane. And since we were coming back at the beginning of January or some bullshit like that, or maybe it was, I can't remember if it was January, but it was like a high season. Everybody was coming back, so there was no seats. But when I was telling you guys that story, or when I was telling chat that story, I added a little bit of my own sauce on stream, and I said whenever I tell that story, I'll add that sauce because it's a better story. Basically, what I added was, well, this is what was true, is that two people seem to be like into each other, okay, and like something seemed to, you know, be brewing between those two people who were strangers before, right? And when finally my mother, my brother, and I were able to like come back to Mexico, when we were able to come back to Mexico, those two people were also on the plane with us, right? And there was a party and there was alcohol, and they did tell us that, hey guys, you cannot be like back here, you need to be sitting down, you know? But at that moment when I was telling that, I was playing Overwatch 2. I remember. And I was joking with the chat. And we were like, bro, you know what? My mom told me it was a party in the back, but maybe those two people were banging in the fucking toilets and they got caught. And that's why it was such a ruckus and stuff, you know? And I said, next time I tell that story, I'm going to say those two motherfuckers got caught banging in the airplane toilets, right? And everybody started laughing. And I said, I'll fucking, bro, that's the new story. That's what's gonna happen at the end of like the whole saga of staying at Madrid for 30 days. That was gonna be like the end, right? And like watching this guy, I realized that it's the same thing. He does the same thing. He tells a story based on true facts, but it's not a true story. The thing is, I'll tell you when it's a true story, and I'll tell you when I do true facts. Like, I rat on myself. He doesn't. And that's not okay. That ain't okay. You know? Like, I'll shift a story and tell you I shifted it. He doesn't. He just shifts the story. But that kind of tells me, one, he wants attention, two, he's a storyteller. And three, he's a bit of a liar. He's not truthful. You know, somebody truthful will tell you like, Jesus Christ, bro, that like it didn't happen like that, but it happened like that, you know?
That's good enough for me. The FBI does not get involved in a case like this in a matter of weeks. There's no way. The Department of State, Department of Justice. In fact, I've been doing a lot more research lately. Look at the Newburgh 4. Listen, I got all the dots here. Paint the picture.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
If media attention could help open up some doors to eventually save this man's life, why wouldn't I tell his story?
All right, Chad. I mean, that's all I've got.
I'm probably the most honest dude you're ever gonna find. I mean, it's like, you know, I've just honesty is just an integral part of my core.
Though I've talked to attorneys about this case, honesty is an integral part of my core. The law, destiny.
I'll tell you this, bro. Honesty is an integral part of my core. But if my mom killed someone, I'd burn the house down. I'd burn the evidence, bro. I wouldn't tell the cops. I'd burn the fucking evidence. My mom ain't doing nothing like that. Hell no. Hell no. If the cops asked me, hey, did your mother off that motherfucker? What? What? Oh my god, the house burnt down. Damn, it wasn't me.
Controversial and now banned Twitch streamer hosted Chad and 3 attorneys on his stream. While playing Diablo 4, Chad's narrative got torn apart.
Okay, you're the one kind of interrupting, right?
And Chad reacted as expected, with a TikTok playlist.
Flat out lied about several things in my case.
I'm sure you'll see Chuppel up there soon.
It's a shame because Destiny could be covering a true story.
So, in lieu of a happy ending, enjoy the comment section. And thanks for watching.
Try and shoot all the holes you can. I've had people try before.
This guy's really good. This guy's really good. Really fucking good. Yeah, be careful of the people who say they're really extremely honest. Usually they're not. Usually they're not. You gotta be careful with what people say. They've got to match up with what people do. And listen, bro, I suffer from saying a lot of shit and not doing a lot of shit, okay? I do suffer from it. I say I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Let's look at all of my greatest hits, bro, of claims. I'm gonna do my own shows. We're gonna do the Discord Fighting Championships. I'm gonna teach you motherfuckers how to box. I'm gonna do gym streams. I'm gonna do cooking streams. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the other. You know, I've lied multiple times. Many a fucking time. But I don't mean to. And I don't want to. So, we're gonna change that. I've said I've got to start clipping and editing clips. And we've started. And we're doing it. I've said I'm gonna do the boxing at the fucking park with my cousin. I'm gonna start doing it, and I am gonna do it. And eventually, I will do everything I told you motherfuckers that I was gonna do. I will do them all. I will do them all. But bit by fucking bit. Because otherwise, my shit crumbles. So what we need to do now, boys, edit. We need to edit now. That's what we need to do. So, let's find a good fucking clip. Let's find a good clip. My view on ads. I either drop ads or I do full-blown porn. I'll say, you know what, bro? What the fuck? How about you do some porn ads? What the fuck? Yeah, they shouldn't show up on clicking on YouTube. Oh my god, bro. Dude, I look so much better with like the based hair than this. So much, man. They should show up 10 minutes after because I look so much better, bro. It's actually insane. Let me see. How to get revenge. Yeah, you get a wig, right? You get all of these things. Then what you do, bro, is you look at him, you find him, and you go at night. He gone. Okay. Jesus Christ. Then what you do, you put the wig on. You say, hey, I'm a woman. I'd like to be transferred to a woman's prison. Then you get transferred to a This edit is going to be good. Now, we all know that women do less time. So your sentence gets reduced, right? Your sentence gets reduced. Also, what you did in the prison, you did as a woman. That one's going to be good. But it ain't time to drop that one. It ain't time to drop that one. A promise to Danktree Daily. Bro, I was so happy when Danktree came back in. This guy was one of my first viewers, man. I'll branch out. I will fucking grow. You believed in me back then, and I still believe in myself now. Yeah. And I do. YouTube and TikTok clips and shit. I am, but I gotta do more. I can do more. I can do more. Other things. I can do more, bro. If the TikTok Fugitive has got 7 fucking YouTubes, 3 Instagrams, 2 Discords, 217 millions, okay, and then he's going viral, I can do it too. Now I just gotta kidnap a child. Hey, that's a clip. That's a clip. Jesus Christ. Insulting Minnie is a good idea. Yeah, he asked for a gank, and I said, bro, I just ganked bottom. I'm just done ganking bottom. Do you need a gank, mate? And he goes, yeah, please. And then I said, wait, but hold on. I got an appointment with your mother first. I need an appointment with your mother first. Dude, I look so much better with the hair. Bro, I don't know what the fuck is, like, look at this. I look so much better with the fucking short thing, the hair, and the clear face. I don't know what's going on. I actually look good. And then he said, oh, okay, but hurry up. And I said, no, bro, your mother is so ugly. I take a lot of time, bro. It takes me a lot of time to finish with your mother. She's ugly as fuck. What the fuck? What the fuck? And then he says, okay, go. And I said, yeah, bro, that's what I do with your mother. Oh my god. Oh my god. You think you can insult me? You think you can insult me and get away with it? Oh my god. This is a little too schizo. A little too schizo, bro. This is good for when people get to know us, bro. We gotta like, we need a good thumbnail. We need a good thumbnail. What is he doing with that knife? It's really sweet. It's candy. Lemon, what else do you want? Like fucking lemon. I mean, it was real good. I'm not gonna lie. Bro, we gotta do more than that. That was real good. Many only want Spartans. My god, Before you said you were done, there was 65. Yeah, like look, the hair here don't look too good, bro. When it's long, it don't look good. When the hair is long, I look bad. Love me. And then when the hair is, I'm like a giga chad. Bro, but like 15. Could have had a haircut. Like that fucking monster that is in 300 like this. I don't want them, bro. I only want 300 Spartans. You understand? You understand? Boom. Boom. Kick them out, bro. Boom. Kick them out. No. We need a good... I need a good, Oh my god. Like, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good clip once people get to know me, but if I edit this clip, people are gonna think I'm John Zerka's best friend, bro. Listen to this shit. Our land. If I'm not over there, fucking oh my god. Oh my god. People are gonna be like, holy shit. Oh. Worst plays I've seen. No, this is not gonna be it. I think this one is good. I think this one is good. One down. I think this one is good. One down. It needs a good title though. Cover me. I'm Phoenix and cover me. And we clickbaited. I can't believe my team and I won an ALGS or some bullshit. How I won an ALGS. Push. I think this clip would do good. It's good aim. Shut up. But, oh, bro. The HP, man. The HP. Bro. I've seen this. Oh my god, what happened to my face, brother? Jesus, dude, that's an allergic reaction and a half. I know who he is, bro. You can't hide from me, Eli. I think this is good. My boy, I recognize him. Dude, I think this is good. Now he's a camo dude. What a cool fucking motherfucker. Listen, I think this one's a good one. All-seeing eye of fucking Twitch, my boy. I think this one's a good one. Because I can name drop Eli Manning. Easy. Bro. Easy. I've seen this guy before. NFL player with baklava. Jesus Christ, bro. Bro, what? It's so bad. My poor face, bro. I know who he is, bro. You can't hide from me. Let me see. Bro. I've seen this guy before. Yeah. Like this. I know. And we could have. He used to be an NFL player, now he's a camo dude. What a cool fuck. Yeah. Bro. Yeah. This one's good. This one's a good one. Yeah, we're gonna pick and choose the right ones at the beginning, and then after people get to know you, you're Gucci. Like, for example, this one. This one. Once people get to know me, this one's good. Like, bro, you flood my tunnels. I find out. I send a bunch of women and children. Oh now the whole world sees that you killed women and children, and then I say, I placed them in the tunnels because you were bombing the buildings. Where else am I gonna place them? Oh my god, it's actually genius. And now I look like a hero when I knew that you were gonna flood them. In fact, if I'm a terrorist, I place the children there, I place the women there, and I flood it. And I say it was you. Holy shit. I left them there. I say that I say that you left them there. No, that I left them there because... Yeah, that one's a good clip. And we erased the ending where I was like, no, that. And we use... I mean, it doesn't really matter. Women and children. We use... And then I say, I place them in the tunnels because you were bombing the buildings. Where else am I gonna place them? How am I gonna keep them safe? And now I look like a hero. And we drop why Israel shouldn't flood. Right, the tunnels. But that's just... My problem with this one is we're kind of surfing. We're kind of surfing on bad energy, bruh. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Kind of using the conflict to our advantage. You flood my tunnels. I send a bunch of women and children. Now but it is true and it is pretty smart. Like, bro, you flood my tunnels. I find out. I send a... In the past, before I was a clout chaser, I would have said, nah, I've got other clips. I've got other clips that I can use. I'm gonna use one about the war. Yeah, I don't gotta do that. But if a bunch of retards like Hassan and a shit ton of other pieces of shit who would just use everything to their advantage, if they can do it and then evil prevails because they do it, then it's just like a losing battle. So you have to kind of just join the battle, you know. But what I say there is real and it's true, dude. If you have tunnels, you know, putting people in there and then flooding them and saying it was the other side. Do you know how horrific it would be to, like, for that to actually happen? And I'm sure that can actually happen. I wish that I am not a fucking seer. I wish I'm not a seer, and I wish that doesn't happen. When Israel or Hamas flood some tunnels and women and children die. I wish for it not to happen. I hope that they are not geniuses in that way. Because, man, the backlash against Israel would be insane. It would be insane. And the support for Hamas would be gigantic. Because imagine just this, right? Israel is bombing Palestine, which fucking sucks. Where are you gonna hide if you're getting bombed? Tunnels, right? And then they flood them. So you weren't safe on the land and you weren't safe below land. So where the fuck were you safe? You know? It's like you had no you had no chance. That's pretty much the dictionary fucking description of like assassinating or like, you know, mass murder, you know? Because it's like if I'm bombing and I'm also flooding and I'm like doing everything, where can I go? You know? Naomi. Yeah. Man, it sucks for those people, man. I really, you know what? You know why I don't want to like use that one? Because my mind actually says, what if that one goes viral and somebody in Hamas sees it? And then they do what I say? And then I cause those people's deaths? Yeah, I am posting that one. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I posted that one and then that happened. No, I can't post that one. Yeah, I can't post that one.
Lick my lollipop.
No, not this one. Bro, you Florida. Yeah, I can't post this one. It's genius. Because it's true. But if they fucking use my genius for evil, then I am an evil genius. I can't do that. I can't do that. Even though it's a great title, even though it's a viral machine, I can't do that in good conscience. I wish I could. I wish I could. Oh, maybe I could post a Telmex. Porque me pongo en internet, me levanto a las 4 de la mañana. Así se la pongo. Sí, o sea, no, pues porque si le voy a poner ese problema no me van a marcar. Póngale de 2 a 4, por favor. No me van a marcar. Ya los conozco. I honestly think that clip, it shows how smart I am. And it's a good clip and it's a relevant thing. But like, bro, if I post that clip and then that clip gets a couple of fucking 1,000 views or hundreds or whatever, and then 3 days later we find out that Israel flooded some things and then women and children died, I'm gonna be left wondering, like, was it Israel? Did somebody see my shit? Like, did they get this horrible idea from me? Did I do this to these kids? And yeah, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if that happened, so that one is not getting clipped. That one is not getting posted. Ever. Ever. Stop resisting. That was so nice. Oh! Oh! Stop resisting! And she's going, ah! Stop resisting! Jesus. How are you gonna scream stop resisting at somebody that you're tasing? I spoke too soon. This woman was 100% resisting. It just doesn't seem like it, but she was 100% resisting. Don't disappear like they did Dylan, FYI. Ah, bro.
When a routine traffic stop.
Oh, bro, like the Dylan stuff is so sad, man. the Dylan stuff is so sad because he's got so many clips that eventually he was gonna realize that he needed to edit and that would do good. And those clips are just gone. Those memories are gone. And he's not a big enough streamer to have people have clips of him, have this, have that, have the other. So all of that is lost. Which is another reason why I need to grow, so that my shit is protected. Protected everywhere. So let's start protecting, bro. Two types of streamers. There are streamers that will pull other streamers up. For example, no, I'm not like Canute. Canute put Wake Wilder on. Wait a minute, weird. Teach him a lesson. I watch murder documentaries, okay, and then I go to sleep and I'm like, holy shit, bro, what if I got murdered in my sleep? That would be horrible. And dude, the girls will watch like a marathon of just serial killers that killed women that look exactly like them. It's like you see a picture and you're like, bro, that's you. He was killing you. And she's like, yeah. Eating popcorn, bro. And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, my brother sleeps like that. He just goes, door open. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, bro? Are you not afraid that you're gonna get murdered? Good, because I'm gonna murder you. Yeah. And then that's when I go, ah! Yeah. Admitting to murdering people. Jesus Christ. Good clip, Mini. Jesus Christ. Oh, bro. I watch murder documentaries, okay? Yeah, we're saving this one. I'm like, holy shit, bro. What if I got murdered in my sleep? That would be horrible. And dude, the girls will watch like we're editing this one of just serial killers that killed women that look exactly like them. It's like you see a picture and you're like, bro, that's you. He was killing you. And she's like, yeah. Eating popcorn, bro. And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, sleeps perfectly, door open. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, bro? Are you not afraid that you're gonna get murdered? Good. I gotta teach you a lesson, bro. And then that's when I go, ah! And I'll appear evil, bro. Soon. I watch murder documentaries, okay, and then I go to sleep and I'm like, holy Jesus shit, fucking what if I Christ. Got murdered in my sleep? That would be Jesus Christ. I watch murder documentaries. See, I usually can't predict what I'm gonna say or do, but on that one I can't predict. And why can I predict that I'm gonna say something about killing someone? Oh, that's the problem. Why can I predict that, bro? But I can't predict my other clips. I can predict this one, but I can't predict the others. Oh my god, man. I usually can't predict myself though. Like when I watch my VODs, because I'm cutting them up, I say some wild shit and I'm just like, where did that come from? And the good thing is I also forget. I forget really quickly. So I'm like watching my stream and I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on here? I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan of my own stream. I am a fan. I am a fan, bro. I understand why you fucking schizos watch. And I understand why you guys are so similar to me. Because I watch my own shit and I'm like, this guy's insane. This guy's insane. Did I miss? No, I didn't miss. No. Not that one.
The king, gentlemen! The king!
So snow robes. Oh yeah, we can edit this one.
How about this? How about that for sus, bro?
Yeah, we can edit this one. We can download this one and edit it. Yeah. And we can fucking title it least addicted MOBA streamer. Or some bullshit like that. Yeah. This one's a good one. Alright. Oh my god, it's 5:30 a.m. I said this was a short stream and I said I can't go to sleep at 5 a.m. 6 a.m. But then I also said I gotta edit. Oh no, I'm gonna be a liar no matter what. I'm a liar no matter what. Fuck. Fuck. I didn't notice it was 5:30 a.m. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now we're in a conundrum. Now I'm a liar no matter what. What is a bigger lie? Now we're in a conundrum. What is a bigger issue? I can edit in the morning. I can do double editing tomorrow. I can edit twice. Once I sleep late, I will sleep late again. And it will crash it to the next day. And then the next day. And then the next day. Yeah, I gotta sleep. I'll edit at the beginning of the stream tomorrow. I'll stream earlier. I'll edit at the beginning of the stream. And then we'll play Hon. And then we'll edit. And then we'll do some Apex or we'll try to get on cute bots or something. Yeah, I can edit at any moment. I can't sleep at any moment because then I don't get the sunlight, because then I don't go to the gym, because then I don't buy food. Yeah, I need to sleep right now. Okay, well, fuck. Sorry boys for lying. Again. Oh. I'm gonna raid Linkser again. I raided him the other day. Let's raid Linkser since we're playing more Apex. Have a good night, boys. Take care of yourselves. And I'm sorry for lying. Tomorrow I'll edit some more. I'm gonna go to sleep right now because I gotta go to the gym. I gotta buy food. I gotta take a bath. I gotta be nice and fucking healthy. And I've gotta check the spot with my cousin where we're gonna fucking stream the boxing. So yeah. And I gotta do all that tomorrow. Early. So I gotta sleep now. Have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for being here. Thanks for everything. Much love. Alright, take care of yourselves. And if you're ever caught in a lie, like me, okay, between two lies, you've already fucked up. You gotta think about it quickly. You gotta think about it quickly. Which one will keep me fucking up in the future? Which one can I postpone a little? Not a day, not 2 days, a little. I can't postpone the sleep because I've got things I need to do. I can't postpone an edit and edit twice. I can't do that. I can't sleep twice. That's just not going to happen. I'm going to try and my body's going to say, nope, you're awake. So, yeah. All right. Have a good night.
So this